one country is banning cryptocurrencies. And to be honest with you, I totally understand why they're doing it. We also have some big problems here in the US banking system, some new data coming out, and some big events that are happening this week, which we should cover a little bit before they happen. If you don't mind, hit the subscribe button underneath the video, turn on that bell notification if you want to see future videos just like this. There's also a couple links underneath the video as well. In case you want to trade 𝗡𝗱𝗡𝗡 on leverage, there's actually a link down there to BitGet where you can do that. There's also a link down there if you want 10% off tickets to Miami, Bitcoin Miami. You can use the link underneath the video and type in code MFF, as in my financial friend, to get that 10% off. Now, crypto is looking fine today. Bitcoin's down just a little bit. We have some news, though, that not everyone wants to have crypto. Not everyone wants to allow crypto to be used, but we'll talk about that in a second. There are a couple big events happening this week. Core CPI is coming in on Wednesday at 8:30. We have the CPI coming in at the same time, obviously. And then we have PPI coming in Thursday. So that's going to be really interesting. A couple big events there. Now, just to remind you, last month we had a CPI that was lower than expected. The forecast was 5.2, and it came in at 5%. Previously, the CPI had been at 6%, so it went 6 to 5, and now the forecast is looking like it's supposed to be the exact same as last month, 5%. Now, maybe that changes in the next few days, but right now it doesn't seem like we have that tough a comp. We just need to hit what we hit last month. Otherwise, we could drop in that 4% range. I was talking with my brother-in-law yesterday, and at this point, we saw good jobs data come out yesterday. We have GDP that's still in the positive. We could be gearing up for the soft landing that everyone's hoping for. Now, a lot of people are forecasting a recession, but if we continue to get CPI and PPI that comes down, that is really the biggest thing for us. So if we get down into the threes, maybe months down the line, what else is there to really be worried about? Inflation's coming down. The Fed doesn't have to keep on raising rates, if that's the case. Unemployment is very low still, so people still have jobs they can still spend. Of course, there are some indicators that show that we are heading towards a recession. But at this point, I don't know when we're at the top if we could really ask for any better scenario. The Fed rate is right at that 5.25% that a lot of people were expecting. Terminal rate the same as 2007, 2008. And now inflation has been coming down really quickly. This is the lowest point that we've seen since October 2021, so year and a half. Hopefully we continue to see that come down. If we come in below expectations, the market's going to explode. We have some news that Argentina Central Bank is halting cryptocurrency from payment apps. The ban is intended to reduce Argentina's payment system exposure to digital assets. Now, they didn't really explain why this is happening. They say here, payment service providers that offer payment accounts may not carry out or facilitate operations with digital assets, including crypto assets. They're not regulated by the component national authority and authorized by the Central Bank of Argentine Republic. Now, some people are trying to get Argentina to still use crypto. Argentina's fintech chamber urged the government to reconsider the decision, claiming that it limits access to a technology that offers multiple benefits and opportunities for our society. I understand why they're doing this, because Bitcoin is at an all-time high against the Argentinian currency, the Argentine peso. You might be saying, how could that be? How could it be at an all-time high when Bitcoin's still down 50% plus from its high in the US dollar? Well, you have to remember, even though we're seeing inflation here in the US, other countries are seeing much worse inflation. For example, Argentina is seeing an inflation rate of 7.1% and not a year. This is not like what we're seeing here in the US. It's 7.1% in March. So annually, 100% basically. They say we expect annual CPI of 115%, but with upside risks. So if you're in Argentina, you're trying like hell to try to get your money out of their currency and into anything. Bitcoin, even going down 50% against the US dollar, is better than holding the Argentinian peso. So they're trying to get out. The central banks are saying, no, you can't use that. We think that's too risky. So I get why they're trying to do this, but the fact is people will be able to get around this. if they have the internet, you can still buy digital assets. You can get around it, but it's kind of a crappy situation because it does limit how many people can get access to it. And that's why fintech companies are like, hey, come on, let us do this, because you're really hurting your own citizens here. And we can't get too high on our horse here because we're having problems here in the US with our own banking system. This is coming from the Fed, and it states, at third quarter end, 722 banks reported unrealized losses exceeding 50% of their capital. A lot of this is due to them buying long-dated treasury bonds, and as the Fed continues to raise rates, they can issue more treasury bonds at a higher yield, therefore causing the face value of the other bonds that people have been buying that have a lower yield to be worth less. Not worthless, but worth less. So these banks then had these assets that are now worth less, and now they're showing a lot of unrealized losses. 722 banks. That's insane. 31 of these banks report negative tangible equity values. Banks reporting negative tangible values are currently not able to borrow new money from federal home loan banks and may lose the ability to sell loans to government-sponsored enterprises. So these banks are even in a worse situation. I don't think this is the end of the bank reckoning. If the Fed had to raise any more, which I don't think they will, the market also doesn't think that they'll raise any more. If they had to raise any more and more banks would explode. Even with that being said, though, there's still a lot of fear about the banks that are having these losses right now. I mean, 31 banks that have negative tangible equity values. If there's a run on these banks, which we're already seeing deposits continue to fly out of these smaller regional banks, if they continue to fly out, these banks will go bankrupt. They'll go down and someone will buy them out, most likely, hopefully. But we're still not great here in the US. Have your money at a bigger bank is my suggestion, or just have less than 250,000 because you're probably not going to be insured above that. Maybe something will come out in the next few weeks about protecting those clients, but we'll have to see. At the same time, Bitcoin withdrawals from exchanges continue flowing out. Almost another 240 million whales driving the outflows. More and more money coming off of exchanges, not trusting the centralized exchanges, which is smart. Use the exchanges to exchange, not to hold your crypto. If you want a crypto solution, a hardware wallet, there is a link to Trezor underneath the video. That is a great hardware wallet provider. And we're continuing to see network adoption. We're continuing to see supply go down from Ethereum because of meme coin season. We're starting to see more and more people paying for Bitcoin fees as well because of ordinals. So a lot of excitement coming back into the crypto space. Even if Bitcoin isn't necessarily moving up, there's still a lot of movement, a lot of adoption. This is, I think, the most excited the market seems to have been in a year or two since the last bull run. We're starting to see some more people coming into crypto, which I think overall is good. Of course, if you're someone that's been around in crypto and someone's asking you what you should do or how they should invest, try to lead them in the right direction. Try not to let them put everything into a meme coin or something like that. And we'll get through this bear market. I think we're close to the end. Now, we could still see another shakeout, so I'm not saying put all your money in, but I think this is a pretty exciting time. And like I said, there's some exciting things happening with CPI, PPI coming this week. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.